about working on Marianne Williamson's campaigns is that you guys, you get to meet the most wonderful people that you feel like you've known them all your life. Okay. Now I've known Oscar now, it's going on 4 years. And I feel like she's my sister, Reed, my sister. Then I got this guy here, this Dr. Cliff, who's become my family doctor. Okay. That I had my mother talk to him, telemed. Okay. And I know that she is in great hands. This is family. Dr. Cliff is family to me. Like, you guys aren't going anywhere. Okay. You're not going anywhere. You be LB, leave us alone. It's over. So Dr. Cliff, I am just going to ask you a few questions and get your wonderful insights. And we get to share you with the world now. Okay. Mm-hmm. We don't get to just have you with Step in America anymore. We get to share Dr. Cliff with the world. And Dr. Cliff, I want, before we're done, for you to share your website, your wonderful videos that you put out when you're walking, when you're doing your smoothies, when you're sharing even your beautiful pictures of beautiful, lovely food that I can't afford to buy, and then I just go make a salad, okay? Yeah. I'm like, that looks good, Dr. Cliff. But one of the things we were talking about is, when people say, and it was a point that I got to with politics, like, this stuff is so corrupt. It's just so messed up, and I have been involved in politics since I was 18. I'm like, I'm going to vote. And I got my children the same way. All three of them were so excited when they turned 18. And the first time they voted, they got to vote for Obama. And they felt really great about that. Of course, now, none of them feel like voting anymore. That's what they've learned. And I'm trying to get them to really get into Marianne so they can understand why it's still important. So for us who say, why bother? I can't make a difference. Dr. Cliff, what do you say to those people who've gotten there? I've gotten there. You and I have spoken. To where just wash my hands of this.
I was there. Yeah, just as you said, I was there. And, just feeling that the system would, it would take care of itself. I mean, there's no way that it could get worse, okay, now it's worse. Now it can't get any worse than this. And honestly, the turning point for me, when I finally figured out that I had to get involved, and I didn't want to get involved, and honestly, I still don't want to be involved, but I have to at this point, was in 2016 when Donald Trump got elected. This was something that changed me to my very fiber and being. And I said, wait a minute, I've been waiting all this time for something better to happen, and then this happens. And at that point, I woke up. I woke up and I said, okay, I got to get involved. And so that's when I started getting involved locally, having, events at my own house. I never dreamed that I would be having Democratic candidates at my own home, but we've done this now 2 or 3 times. I think the important thing that we all have to realize is that, and I'm always speaking from a medical standpoint because I'm a cardiologist. When you think about each individual cell of the body contributes to the health of the whole. You just don't have the whole body here. You've got 57 or so trillion cells in your body, and each one determines the health of the whole body. And so we can't just go on thinking, and us as human beings, each human being has a determining factor on the health of our country. And over the years, we feel like it's been taken away from us and we are powerless. But just as each cell has its responsibility in the body to make the body whole, each of us has that responsibility, and each cell is powerful and each one of us are powerful. So in my smallest way, I know that I am making a huge difference. There's something called the observer effect. And the observer effect says that if I'm on this call right now, I'm observing you, you're observing me, and I'm influencing all of you. And there's nothing that you can do about it. And you guys are all influencing me. And so I don't have to worry about, am I making a difference? I am. And so is everybody on this call, and everybody across the country. So just knowing that, that's very empowering. And I'm here today to be sure that I move Dr. King's message forward, the power of the people, not the power of just one person, but the power of the people. And I'm so honored to be here today. And again, that video of Marianne talking about Dr. King, just went through me and changed me again. So thank you very much for posting that.
That is so beautiful. I love your holistic perspective. Um, my degree is in holistic counseling, and one of the things that was introduced to me in grad school was being a whole, but a whole part. So being a part and a whole at the same time. And so it seems to me that what you realize is that, you know what, I am a whole part and I affect the larger body, for instance. So when you say those, I didn't know it was what, 59 trillion cells. Thank you. See, I love stuff like that. Okay. So if you have like one of those cells go crazy, Marianne talks about that. There's just one renegade cell that goes, I'm going to kill the body. All right. I'm going to act crazy, and then that cell affects the cells around it. Okay. Then that can cause the domino effect of ill health in the body, unless we take the other whole parts and come together and say, oh, not on my watch. And I think that that's one of the most important things that Marianne says that I love, not on my watch. So if you say, Dr. Cliff, not on my watch, if Oscar says not on my watch, Pat says not on my watch, Reese says not on my watch, and then we start coming together, and then we have more people saying not on my watch, it starts another whole process. And it shows you what one little person can do. Go ahead. I see you.
It is about, one little cell. That one little cell is a cancer. Okay. And cancer, all a cancer knows how to do is just multiply and grow and grow and grow. And it doesn't realize it's going to actually kill the host. Okay. And
Yes.
So what do? We have to excise that cancer. We have to do something about that cancer. Otherwise, it's going to kill the host. And that's essentially what's happened across our country, is that we have this cancer. It is a very corrupt political system, a system where we all feel like we don't have a voice, where we can't make a difference. This is the energy that is here in our country today, and it is a cancer. And a big part of Marianne Williamson and Dr. King, they both talked about the importance of us as individuals, and we can actually be together in this, in excising this cancer from our country, and then making our country just a healthier place, both physically, but also mentally, spiritually, emotionally, on every level. And we can all live our best and most wildest dreams here in America. That's what I stand for, and that's the reason why I love what Marianne's talking about.
Now, I love what she's talking about. You do, all of us here do. But why do you think, even if there are people who resonate with your vision here about it being a cancer and how we need to be go in a different direction, and we think about Dr. King. I didn't know he was short today until I paid attention to you and Marianne saying that. I never realized that. And do I care? So was Prince.
Yeah.
I went to Paisley Park, and the little outfits he wore was this big. I could put him in my pocket. Oh well, but he had a huge impact on the art and the music world. So Dr. King, look, he had a huge effect on this world. And Marianne's just a little lady. When you meet her, you won't believe it. She's bigger than life. But when you are next to her, she's just a little lady. So it really doesn't even matter, because good things come in small packages, is what they used to say when I was a kid. So even though she is so in alignment with the teachings of Dr. King, as we are, and she's this brilliant, wonderful woman, why does that mean? Because I get challenged all the time out there trying to share, Marianne. If you're like, yeah, we love her and everything, but why do you feel that she is prepared and she is adequate to the task of leading us as president of the United States? Because that's a huge job for a little lady, right?
Yeah. I get that all the time. And I'm going to be honest, when I think about it, when I first started thinking about this, I thought the same thing. We classically think of, the person leading the country as a strong, usually male, usually a white male, who is strong and domineering and is able to, forcefully move the country forward and make us all number one and that kind of thing. That's the typical thing. And when we think of Marianne, also the leader is somebody who will, place on a general hat and go into war with the rest of the soldiers at any given moment, But that's not what the U.S. presidency is about. The presidency is about not just one person. The presidency is about the power of the people. It's not the power of one person, but the power of the people. And so I continue to reiterate that to anybody out there who will listen to me, that once Marianne gets into the White House, and I have every intention of making sure that happens, her intention is not to be that ruler, that dictator that will all of a sudden tell everybody what to do. Her intention is to open the door and surround herself with morally competent people who care about this country just as much as any Republican, Democrat across our world, and who are ready to make a true difference on not only a moral level, but also on an emotional level, on a health level, on every possible level that we can think of. And so that's her mission, to get there and then allow the people, the voices of the people, to come in and govern the way that it should. So we don't have to worry about, having this strong, domineering force. And we got to remember that force really, if you look at the palm tree, if you look at, look at trees, look at the palm tree, right? So when force comes, when these winds come, the palm tree is able to bend all the way until its head touches the ground, right? And then once the forceful winds subside, the palm tree is able to come back up, and in many instances is stronger than when the winds first started, right? But those forceful trees, those strong trees that are very rigid, they get snapped up. And so, and are decimated. And so when you have somebody like Marianne, who, in my opinion, is going to be very, very open to various opinions from both sides of the political spectrum, who is going to be sensitive and empathetic to the plight of every American in this country, no matter what they look like, because she is a disciple of Dr. King. We have that palm tree. We have that person who can bend and who can be open to different opinions and thoughts, and teach us how that's done also, such that we can all come together as a human being. And that's the kind of person that we need in our White House, in my opinion. Somebody who's going to bring in the people behind her and create the change that we need in this country. Mm-hmm. I feel very confident that's what she's going to do.
Yes. And you are spot on with that. I might ask Oscar, because I would have to paraphrase on this, but this is something that it was very important to Marianne. And I'm going to tell you, when she first started talking about it, I didn't fully appreciate it, and I'm still working on appreciating it. But Oscar, you'll remember, so please chime in here. When Marianne talks about leadership, and Oscar's like this as well, she doesn't necessarily even want to be recognized as the leader. That Marianne 2024 is a movement of the people, by the people, for the people. Mm-hmm. And that's why it's people power, just as Dr. King, brought the people there. Remember, he had the poor people's movement trying to get people fed, And so Marianne has said, she wants to get in the White House. She doesn't want to go in there and fight for you. She's going to open up that door and say, come on, guys, we got 4 years. Get in here. Mm-hmm. And I think we got to make people understand her concept of leadership, because I'm working on it, and it's really more akin to what you're talking about, Dr. Cliff. Yeah. Oscar, can you remember what Marianne told us about leadership?
Partly, I can't. She described in her announcement in 2020, the new paradigm in leadership is where the leader leaves it to the brilliance of others to bring forth change, or something like that. And, you know, I mean, she's been speaking that since day one. And the thing has been driving me is similar to what, not similar, is exactly what Dr. Cliff has been saying at the last part of his speech here. This is not about her. This is so much not about Marianne, and people have it about that. It's not about any particular person. It's not about Biden. It's not about Trump. You know, it's about the people. And that's what she's bringing forth is the inspiration and the empowerment for people to speak up, to begin speaking up and get involved. And that's what she's done to me, because I was out of it for a while. You know, I did the Obama thing, and I did a little bit of Bernie thing. And then when he dropped out, I said, okay, I'm finished. But then, you know, when you listen to her, you just can't sit down. I mean, maybe you can, I don't know, if you're listening. So, you know, you just got to get involved. And that's what she said. Yeah.
And I think a true leader is one that can guide the people in a way that they don't know that she's even leading, and then able to step back and the people go, we did it ourselves. We did this, you know what I mean? And the leader just kind of disappears into the background, and versus being the sole determinant of the fate of our entire country. That's a huge burden to bear. I wouldn't want to put that much power in one person. You know, that kind of power needs to be divided equally. And that's the opportunity of a lifetime that we have now.
That's excellent. Before I go to my next question, Bree, keep me honest with the time. When you talk about leaders, for instance, even when she talks about the Department of Children and Youth, she talks about bringing into her administration people who really are the experts on, you know, the well-being and education of children. She's talking about bringing teachers. She goes, they're the ones who should be in here instead of these lobbyists and these politicians and these, you know, people. She goes, and I want to challenge educators and teachers everywhere to go to Marianne2024.com and parents, okay, and look at the Department of Children and Youth, because she wants you to run that joint, because she knows that you're the experts. Does that make sense to you? And when you talk about reparations, she's saying, we can't give people reparations. Okay, now and let us tell you what to do with it. No, she says she's going to bring in African-American Black leaders, okay, and have a group of them decide how this $1 trillion+ is going to be used and disseminated in our community. She's not going to come in and say, well, here's what you do. Here's what you do. So that you can see is in alignment with that concept of, you know, leadership. We lead as a group, which is the best way to do it, because what one person is crazy enough to think that he can choose everything. Oh, we know who it is, but I'm not speaking his name. So, Dr. Cliff, board, I won't give him no. I'm never going to say his name. This whole thing. If I say his name, I get charged $10 every time I speak his name, and you got to guess which one. One's dementia, and I'm not allowed to say that because Marianne would never say anything negative about anybody. But like I said before, Marianne, and I'm never running for president. So, as a board certified cardiologist, okay, with this wonderful depth and breadth of knowledge, why, from that perspective, as a doctor, a medical professional, do you seriously? And I'm gonna meld this with this, you know, with the whole health plan too. You know what the whole health plan is. You can give us a kind of an overview of what you see with that. Coming from that perspective, why do you see Marianne as a good the Williamson presidency as one that would have a good impact on our health as human beings, with what you know from a medical perspective and the whole health plan that she has?
That's a wonderful question. And I'm going to tell you, I see it in my office every day, the effects of our country on my patients. And I'm here in Chester, Virginia. I'm taking care of folks on all different levels of the spectrum, but most of my folks are just plain blue-collar folks. I don't have a concierge practice or anything like that with a whole bunch of, you know, well-to-do people that have very little cares in their life. My folks are real folks. And I see what happens when you look at the social determinants of health that Mary Williamson often talks about. When you look at the health disparities, the impact that it has on them. people have to realize, and I want everybody on this call to realize, that 90% of these chronic medical problems, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, type 2 diabetes, obesity, 90% is from our poor lifestyles. Poor lifestyle, poor lifestyle, poor lifestyle, poor lifestyle, 90%. So these are things that are preventable. And it kills me, it wrenches my heart when I see the suffering that's going on out there. Marianne Williamson talks about it all the time. She mentions this: instead of there being a healthcare system, there is a sick care system. And I've used that term for the last 20 years, I think. Long before Marianne, well, probably we've been using them simultaneously. Maybe I got it from her a while ago, I don't know, but it's absolutely true, a sick care system. Once you get in it, it's very difficult and sometimes impossible to get out of it. And so what we do here at Morris Cardiovascular, we are a state-of-the-art cardiology practice, but our main emphasis is to change behavior through lifestyle medicine. And Marianne Williamson talks all the time about the importance of lifestyle. I'm also board certified in lifestyle medicine through the American College of Lifestyle Medicine. And what we've been able to see, and what my dream is in terms of having a Marianne Williamson presidency, is that when you change a person's lifestyle, you start to reverse the disease process. When you go to most doctors' offices, first thing they do is they write a prescription or they cut it out, okay? Because we've become a country where we want things now. If I got a headache, give me a pill now. I've got a tumor in my body, let's get it cut out. I've got diabetes, my blood sugar's too high, let me take this pill so I can go over here and eat my butter pecan. So, when you go to most doctors' offices, they're writing prescriptions and spending very little time on what caused the disease in the first place, which is the poor lifestyle. When you come to my office, it's exactly opposite. We're looking at the lifestyle, we're changing the lifestyle, and therefore we're able to actually get people off of their medications. When you're looking at a Marianne Williamson presidency, hopefully not pregnancy, but presidency, she's speaking those words. She says, we have to get to the cause of these medical issues. Why is it that we are so much sicker in this country than other developed countries? Why is it that we spend more for our health than our national defense when other countries don't do the same thing? Why is it that our children are getting diabetes and high blood pressure at the most alarming rates, and those trends are still going up so much so that young people now are getting what's called adult onset diabetes? Why is it that we become used to getting just to being sick? It used to be if you told somebody you had diabetes, that was a death sentence, because back in the day they didn't have a way of treating it. But now when you talk to somebody, especially in the United States, oh, I've got diabetes, it's like, oh gosh, yeah, my mom had it, my dad had it, my whole family has it. It's not a health issue. It's not a concern. This is the point where we've gotten to. Marianne Williamson, through her whole health plan, wants to change that. She wants to get to the root cause of things so that we don't have to endure so much suffering. And people ask all the time, well, okay, well, how is she going to pay for it? She wants universal health care. How is she going to pay for all this? We've been paying for this with our lives. We've been paying for this. Every day we go to the drugstore, we are paying for it. Every day there's an amputation that doesn't have to happen. Somebody out there is paying for it. Every 6 seconds, somebody's dying of the complications of diabetes. That doesn't have to happen. We're paying for it. And so it's so much better for us to pay up front, meaning taking good care of our health. The best way not to have a heart attack is to prevent it. And best way not to have diabetes and the complications is to prevent it. So paying up front with prevention is going to be the answer. And this whole health plan that she's talking about marches right in line with the principles that we talk about with American College of Lifestyle Medicine, and something I can support wholeheartedly, because I've seen it in my own practice, what it does. It actually causes the reversal of chronic disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, there's a obesity craze in this country right now. Everybody's heard of Ozempic and Wegovy. It is a frenzy, and the company that makes Ozempic now is a $400 billion company, and they're just getting started. People of wealth are buying Ozempic $700 a pop and doing in their own injections. They're buying it online because we have become a country that is obsessed with being thin versus a country, again, we want it now, versus working on our lifestyles, which can therefore reverse that situation very effectively and keep it up for the long term. I'm looking to reverse the sickness in our country. And I'm looking to stand by Marianne to help her get there. And this is my little part to make sure that that happens.
I love it. You know what? I want to add one thing to that, Dr. Cliff. What I love about her whole health plan, and I'm sure you saw it too, and I think that this is something that lifestyle medicine doctors such as yourself and holistic health practitioners should look at, of course, and the patients, because it's going to save their life. In Marianne Williamson's whole health plan, when you go to a doctor and they give you a prescription or surgery, they also have to give you what?
They have to give you the alternative. They have to give you the lifestyle change that you have to do in order to reverse that problem. Absolutely. Yeah.
Not only will that save lives, if you're in holistic health, alternative medicine, lifestyle medicine out there, why the heck would you not vote for a president, or at least support her to be heard, who would magnify your practice? Just think about it. Think. I mean, and is there any peace without health? What peace is there in living in ill health?
You've heard this, it's cliche, but your health is your wealth. If you got $1 million, what are you going to do with it if you're going to dialysis 3 days out of the week? Or having, or getting a foot amputated? $1 billion won't buy you back another foot.
No.
And so I realize this in my own personal life. And this is something that we tell all of our patients at Morris Cardio. And this is what I want to tell all of America. It is time for us to stand up for our health. We don't have to accept anything less than the best health. And we need to put somebody in the White House who knows and understands that. And who's going to be there for all of us in terms of no other candidate is talking this way. And that's the reason why I love Marianne so much, because she speaks on my level. She speaks to my heart. And the folks that are in power now, or that are in the White House now, I mean, I don't have a tremendous amount of angst or anything about them, personally, but nobody is speaking what Marianne is speaking. I've never seen anything like it. And so therefore, I want to be a part of this. And I plan on doing everything I possibly can to see this thing through.
Thank you.
And I want to encourage every physician. I want to encourage every physician. I want to every healthcare provider. If you ever had a dream of doing what we came to this world to do, which is to make people better and not make people dependent on us to come into the doctor. I'm the only doctor that I feel trying to put myself out of business, And so if we ever had this opportunity, now is the time. Now is the time, and we need it now more than ever.
Thank you so much, Dr. Cliff. Before we let you go, can you please give us your website, your Facebook, so we can make sure that the people who've heard you today will go to your site and get the opportunity to, get better health and actually, live and enjoy the Marianne Williamson presidency. Okay. It's a sweet time if you have good health.
Yeah. You can reach me at morriscardio.com. If you just go to our Morris Cardio Facebook page, and we also have a very, very active Morris Cardio Facebook page. But if you just go to morriscardio.com, or just, go to Facebook, put in Morris Cardio. We are also, I think we have a small presence on TikTok and that kind of stuff. We're getting there. I have a young person in the office now getting us up on social media. So you're going to be seeing more of us, but would love to hear from you, and would love for all of you to jump on board. Let's get healthy. It is our responsibility. It is our care. And we can do this. I've seen it with my own eyes. Our folks in our office are reversing their disease and not settling for anything less. We have to hold our country to a higher standard. We have to hold ourselves to a higher standard, and we have to be there for each other in a whole different way. It's a whole different mindset. No more sick care. Let's make it health. Let's just make it health.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.